Hello everyone, I hope you've been enjoying each instalment of Michael Morpurgo's version of the Snowman. I'm here tonight with chapter 5. But even with his new buttoned up coat, the Snowman still didn't look happy. That was when James heard his dad singing away in the milking parlour. And that was when he remembered something his mum sang to him sometimes. Mum and Dad both liked singing it. If he were ever feeling a bit sad and miserable, as he quite often did on his way to school in the mornings, she'd put her arm around him, wipe away his tears, and sing that song about when you are smiling, the whole world smiles with you. He liked her singing that song. It always cheered him up, for a while at least. That's it, Bertie, he cried, climbing the ladder again. He needs a smile. The Snowman needs a smile. Because smiling makes you happy, makes the whole world happy. A smile would be easy enough to make, he thought, and with his finger he drew a smile across the Snowman's face, a huge curved smile, a happy smile. Bertie liked what he saw. He was barking, not wildly but happily, his tail whirling. Then he started chasing it round and round, which he only did when he was especially happy. James climbed down the ladder, then stood back and looked up at his Snowman. He liked what he saw too. With that smile on his face, his Snowman was happy at last. James smiled too and hummed his mum's song. As he looked up at him, James decided that he loved his happy Snowman more than anything, even more than Bertie, but he wasn't going to tell him that, and far more than a bright green mountain bike with big fat tyres, but all the same, he still hoped he'd get one for Christmas. There was so much to do that day. There always was on Christmas Eve. James kept asking Mum and Dad and Grandma to come out and see his surprise. He was longing to show everyone his Snowman now that he was finished, but everyone was too busy. Grandma was busy mixing the chestnut stuffing for the turkey, and she had to get the Brussels sprouts ready too, so she couldn't come and look. Mum was busy giving the sheep their hay and feeding the hens and collecting the eggs and taking big and little out to the field, so she couldn't come and look. And Dad was busy with the cows and calves and pigs and said he'd already seen the Snowman, but he'd come and see it as soon as he could. But he didn't come to look either. So that afternoon, feeling a bit sad, James took Bertie out to the oak tree field, where his Snowman stood waiting for him. James said hello and told him why his family couldn't come and meet him yet. They would later, he said, when they weren't so busy. As he talked, he patted down the snow where it had fallen away a bit and tried to put back all the Brussels sprout buttons that had fallen off, but only 3 would stay in. James hoped that it would be enough to keep his coat on. Then he went sliding down the hill on his bottom to show the Snowman how fast he could go. That soon cheered him up, and the Snowman seemed to like it too. James even thought he heard him laughing once, a deep, booming laugh, a jolly laugh like no one else's. James needed to talk to his Snowman. He wanted to get to know him better. So he rolled himself another big snowball, made it flat on the top, and then sat down on it, right in front of the Snowman. Sitting there on his snow chair, James told the Snowman all about himself. Well, not all, just the interesting things, like his best toys and Paul Millard, who he wanted as his best friend, and the green mountain bike, and how he wished he could stop stuttering and stammering because everyone at school laughed at him. And then he told him that his favourite food was raspberry jelly and that he hated Brussels sprouts. The Snowman smiled and listened happily, so that cheered James up. Something else was cheering him up too, but he couldn't think what it was, though he still felt a little sad that everyone was too busy to come and look at his surprise Snowman. And that's the end of chapter 5. We'll have to wait and see if his family come and see a snowman in the end.